When will inflation come down? I could answer this question by pointing to the inflation forecasts of private forecasters or of FOMC participants, which broadly show a significant decline over the next year.
Hello, I'm Christopher Crystal. Today is Thursday, December 1st, 2022, and welcome to Financial Stockholm. These are our views on what we're seeing in the market. And I think what's important to note is, although we're giving you the news overview and the issues that are at hand, I think there's always money to be made in the market in terms of trading. So while I'm fundamentally negative, there are many trading opportunities that are presenting themselves, whether they're in the industrials or whether they're in the banking sector. We have a lot of good banks. There is always money to be made in the market. If I look at it from an economic fundamental perspective, the things in Sweden are not getting better, they're getting a little bit worse. And we have an issue with our politicians. The new coalition government is in place. They've been in place for about a month. And while we've had this government for a month, they're not getting much time to deliver on any results. The fact that they're not able to deliver on some of their key promises as of yet are a little disappointing for many in the market and many voters. One of the key issues was about the electricity prices and some sort of recompensation that would occur by the 1st of November. And as it is the 1st of December, and that hasn't happened and will not happen until February, many are disappointed. There's also a little issue about who's getting the money first. Will it be the wealthy business people who are getting paid first or getting paid more, and that's being raised in the papers? Or will it be the Swedish households that need it the most that will be getting money? So the Moderaterna party, which was working quite a bit with the Social Democrat Party in the past, they're really working as a uniparty, and they're getting painted as doing things poorly. And more importantly, their large portion of their support within the government, which was by the Sverigedemokraterna, are getting painted as Nazis. Now they have an issue with this, but they do have some people who are not Nazis and are not bad people, but are grounded in sound economics and are looking at the energy question and what to do. And there's been a push from this current government to go with nuclear. The previous government wanted windmills, and that's the way they're shifting and they're slanting. So with that, they're pushing within the EU to have windmills. And so our energy grid will remain, for the time being, insecure. And we will not see any new policies yet, although there was the announcement that we will have a nuclear plant being built with GE Hitachi, although GE Hitachi has not made this announcement on their webpage. The only thing that they have in Sweden is currently with the dismantling of one of the nuclear power plants. And the new one that they would do would be the SMR, and that is, I believe, the BWRX 300. I think it's a 300 megawatt. So we'll see what happens there. We're looking forward to that if we can get a more nuclear power. Now, remember, the previous government was shutting down the nuclear powers and building up the windmills. And so this is not it's not clear yet which way we'll be moving. But we do see that within the savings market. I mean, like we mentioned about the industrials, some of them have been doing well, but the Swedish savers at one of the largest internet banks is Avanza. And you've seen a shift from a lot of bond funds into global funds. You've seen a shift on MENA funds into Swedish funds. You've seen a shift from commodities over into mixed funds. And then you've also seen from Asia and North America, Asia to European, and then from Brazil funds into North America. And I think what's important to also notice is that and this will affect our market, is that as you have this Twitter story evolving, and Twitter and Apple, and Spotify was dragged into that as well somewhat, about the pricing and the 30% that Apple takes for using their App Store. The Twitter is not going off the Apple Store, and a lot of this comes at the time when there's a question about Twitter and free speech. European Union is going to restrict the amount of free speech that would be allowed on Twitter. They want to see moderation, so free speech, but with limits, which isn't free speech. But they were going to force Elon Musk to comply with that and force Twitter. And this is interesting because Twitter removed the COVID restrictions. So you're able to produce information that previously was labeled as misinformation that turned out to be actual information. So that is making European governments a little bit nervous, and what will happen there. Remember, companies like Rumble are not allowed in France because they were going to show what was going on in Brazil. And France did not want people in France to see what was happening in Brazil. And in Brazil, it looks like there could be an eventual coup d'etat or a coup on the government that was apparently voted in, or if you listen to Bolsonaro, illegally voted in, depending on which side you want to take. But so in terms of the Ukraine, we are sending more weapons to the Ukraine, and they would like to have the same missile systems that we have in Sweden, like the Patriots. And then yesterday there was this conference at the New York Times where Zelensky got to ask for more weapons. And then SBF, the Sam Bankman-Fried, who is the son of Joseph Bankman, and I forget her name, Fried, but they are two lawyers or teachers, professors at Stanford that are focusing on law and on also compliance in the finance world. Their real estate portfolio grew dramatically while their son was at the head of FTT. And he gave a speech as well at this New York Times book conference. And he said he was really sorry about how things had happened and he screwed up. Meanwhile, if you take your Series 7 exam and the basic tenets of fraud and money laundering and compliance were not met. So it's hard to see how this wasn't intentional when his parents focused specifically on this sector of the financial market. So the reason why he's not in jail, many people are asking, and it's very clear. He gave to both parties, Republican and Democrat. So he was greasing the political wheels. He didn't steal any money from Putin. The number of people that are in these crypto exchanges that have died recently is questionable. And he also seems to have been groomed by different intelligence agencies that in similar ways that they've done with things like Epstein and so forth. You can look at BCCI. But so SBF was a speaker at this conference, and you had to pay something like $2,800 to attend. It's kind of odd, but that's the world we live in today. But for the Swedish market, I think it's interesting because we've launched, or we're in the process of launching a Swedish kroner digital version. Everybody does use digital electronic payment systems here in Sweden. And we've started regulating more and more on the digital and the cryptocurrencies. So I don't think there will be any real question there. But in terms of the fundamentals, we don't have any real fundamentals to say buy the market. But if you look at trading valuations, I think you can make money, and there's always opportunities to make money, whether long or short. And so with that, we'll wish you happy investing and hope you have a good day. Thank you very much.